Alcivet smiled, a genuine, unguarded smile. I'll give it to you right away. He presented the document, the imperial seal pressed firmly into the wax. Are you satisfied? Yes. Only then did something ease in the Duke of the West's expression, the faint rigidity in his face softening, briefly, into something almost human. You're leaving now? Yes. I came to say goodbye before I go. Everything about the Duke of the West's bearing announced that he was thoroughly finished with the capital. Alcivet looked at that face, opened his mouth to speak, and had to press his lips together to contain a laugh. Then I suppose I should finally say what I've been putting off. Thank you, sincerely. Is there anything else you want? On that night, the night the Duke of the West had stood with him against the Emperor, Gerard had told him he would accept his thanks later. Alcivet had been waiting for later to arrive. That is sufficient. The Duke of the West lifted the document in his hand with a slight, deliberate motion. Alcivet gave up trying to hold the laugh in. I see. You may go. Goodbye. He watched the Duke of the West turn and walk away, and kept watching until the broad back disappeared through the door. Was there any description that suited him better? That back, wide and steady, had sheltered the West. Had sheltered the Crown Prince through the worst of it. And would go on sheltering the Empire in its own quiet, immovable way. // in the garden, in the shade of the afternoon, Marin, Dia, and Brianna sat together with their tea. You're leaving soon, Brianna said, taking Marin's hand with an expression of quiet regret. Come visit the West, Brianna. Marin squeezed her hand and smiled with her eyes. I absolutely will. And you must visit the South, Marin. Of course. Once Brianna has fully forgiven the Duke of the South and I can actually go there without feeling like I'm intruding. Marin delivered this with great blandness. Brianna narrowed her eyes. Do you think I forgave him too quickly? Marin burst out laughing. It had not, in truth, taken Brianna very long at all. Not once Smith had stationed himself permanently at her side and applied himself entirely to the project of being forgiven. She was leaving for the South with him soon. Lady Marin, our Count family is in the South as well, Dia said from beside her, smiling as she set down her cup. Oh, that's right. Dia must come too. Are you planning to stay in the capital, Dia? Brianna asked. Dia nodded, gentle and certain. I want to be near His Majesty. I want to be a support to him. Marin looked at her with undisguised pride. Dia, you are genuinely remarkable. Not at all, Lady Marin. Dia ducked her head, shy. At that moment, Gerard appeared across the garden, closing the distance with his usual long, unhurried strides. Brianna spotted him and rose. I greet His Grace the Duke of the West. Gerard acknowledged her and said, without preface, I understand you'll be leaving for the South with the Duke of the South soon. Yes, that's right. We'll be departing before you, then. Brianna gave him a puzzled look. In answer, Gerard extended an envelope to Marin with an expression that managed to convey both pride and barely contained impatience simultaneously. What is this? The Emperor's approval for our wedding. Marin stared at the golden envelope. Then, we can actually have the wedding now. At the warmth in her voice, something in Gerard's face softened involuntarily. He smiled before he'd decided to. Yes. We'll be married as soon as we reach the West. We can leave tomorrow. Tomorrow? Is that possible? Marin's eyes had gone wide. She looked, Gerard thought privately, exactly like a startled rabbit. If there are too many people to organize quickly, we can go ahead ourselves. Just the two of us. He said it with complete composure and the expression of a man who would not be moved on this point. Marin looked at him from the corner of her eye. If that's what you think is best. A pointed clearing of the throat interrupted the moment. When Gerard and Marin turned, Dia was smiling with radiant innocence. I want to go too. Go where? Marin tilted her head. To the Duke's castle. Dia, you said you were staying in the capital. That was before I heard about the wedding between my uncle and Lady Marin. How could I possibly stay here? I'll tell His Majesty that I'll return after the ceremony. I want to go too. Brianna, who had been observing the situation with quiet attention, raised her hand. Brianna? Marin looked at her friend with wide eyes. I can't miss my closest friend's wedding. I'll tell Mr. Smith he can travel ahead and I'll catch up with him later. Gerard laughed, a real laugh, unguarded. It appeared that the morning of his fiancées had reached him. Marin looked at them both with an expression that couldn't quite settle on any single emotion. It felt like something anchoring, having people the same age, who shared her heart, who wanted to be there. Thank you. Both of you. I couldn't miss my teacher's wedding. Neither could I. Marin turned to Gerard with the expression of someone presenting irrefutable evidence. Did you hear? And? Gerard opened his mouth slowly, with the dawning sensation of a man walking towards something he is helpless to stop. I don't think we'll be leaving quite as quickly as you thought. He was almost certain he heard it, his heart breaking cleanly in half. He had expected to be outmaneuvered by the Emperor and the Duke of the South. He had not accounted for being outmaneuvered by this. Under his gaze, Dia and Brianna were exchanging glances with Marin and smiling with expressions of the most tranquil innocence. There were so many of them. Gerard turned back to Marin with the quiet desperation of a man making one final appeal. Marin, don't you want the wedding to happen as soon as possible? Marin looked back at him from under her lashes, the expression of a particularly charming small animal who knows exactly what it is doing. Having the people I care about there to celebrate with me is important. He could not argue with that. He knew he could not argue with that. He had known, even as he asked, that he could not argue with that. Gerard turned, with great dignity, to Brianna. Miss Malcolm. Please prepare as quickly as you possibly can. Of course, Your Grace. Brianna pressed her lips together very hard. His gaze moved to diameter. Dia smiled brilliantly, reassuringly, and with the air of someone who had already mentally packed. / Marin knocked on the door of Edra's atelier. Julia, whom she hadn't seen in some time, opened the door with a face lit up with delight. Lady Marin. Julia, hello. Inside the studio, Edra was bent over the finishing touches on Dia's wedding dress, absorbed entirely. She looked up with a slightly dazed expression. Miss Marin, you're here. Are you very busy? Just finishing this. The wedding was delayed, so things are a bit less urgent than they were. She smiled, though the tiredness was visible behind it. Marin felt her conscience stir at that smile. Actually, the date has been set for when we leave for the West. Already? When? In 2 days. What? Edra set the needle down and straightened so fast she nearly knocked her chair back. The dress was almost finished, but 2 days. I'll stay up through the night. Both nights. I'll finish it. She picked the needle back up with a look of absolute determination. But. Marin hesitated, her expression apologetic. A sudden chill ran down Edra's spine. There's a but. The wedding will be held outdoors. Marin averted her eyes with a guilty wince. Oh my God. Edra set the needle down again. If it's too much, I can find another designer. What are you saying? Edra straightened, both hands pressing flat against the work table. I am doing it. I have a shop in the West. Making the wedding dress of the Duchess of the West is an honor. It is the honor. Marin looked at her with genuine worry. I was afraid you'd push yourself too hard. I will push myself exactly as hard as necessary, and if my nose bleeds, so be it. Edra turned. Julia, take over here. Miss Marin, I'll show you the catalog. Just point to what you want. Yes. Faced with the full force of Edra's spirit, Marin nodded quickly. I will make the most beautiful dress you have ever seen. The light in Edra's eyes was the light of someone with a mission. I know you will, Marin said, and pressed her hands together in a gesture of absolute confidence.